didn't want to do things. I didn't want to hang out with people. I was just sick.
How do you feel it was affecting you as a 17-year-old in that space before you had your diagnosis? Did you have concerns? Was it affecting anything like
It definitely did. I was really lethargic. I didn't want to do things. I didn't want to hang out with people. I was just sick. And my PE coach, I can't remember her name, but she still to this day remembers me because she thought I was putting it on, because every time we would go to a session where I'd have to train, because I was doing basketball as my main point, and I was trying to train for that, and I was always saying that I'm sick and I'm not well, and she didn't believe me. And then she found out I ended up in hospital. So she's always remembered that, because I've seen her since in a local gym. And yeah, like I was being sick from college. I was missing college. I was just lying in bed, just not wanting to do anything. But I told my mum, I told my girlfriend at the time, who I was with before I was in hospital the first time. But we broke up when I got out of hospital, mainly because I didn't know if I knew that I'd end up being back there, but I just wanted to be on my own. Finding out I had a condition, I thought I had to figure out who I was and what this thing was. And next thing I know, I was back in hospital anyway. So yeah, as a 17-year-old, it was a tough to break down, like, mentally. But I kind of like to think that I'm a positive person, so it didn't upset me in any way. I just kind of tried to carry on as normal. But when I didn't feel well enough, I just told people, and just certain people just didn't believe me.
Well, at least you adapted quicker than I did. I mean, what just amazed me is how similar our diagnosis stories are to a point. So I was 17 whenever it happened to me, and I had months of similar, like, bloody stools.
Yeah.
Then I'd just joined the army as well, so
right.
I was like fainting on parades and constantly like that lethargy and just like not really focused and like being really crap on exercise where you're like out in the woods doing soldier stuff.
Yeah.
And it took me ages to actually go sick. And then like similarly, they thought I had a pile or all this random stuff. And then it wasn't until they did my blood tests that they went, your red blood cell count is so low and your white blood cell count is so high. They sent me in for an endoscopy. And then the doctor there, Colonel Fabricas, was like, you must be in agony. I was meant to fly home on leave that same day. And so he was like, well, we can give you this, but it means you can't fly. So I was like, right, I don't want it. So I had no pain relief for the scoop. And it was, I've never ever had a scoop since without pain relief.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I've had to cut one short even with pain relief when I had just the stump left because it was so bad. So you doing that without is, wow, that must have been.
And then they admitted me straight away, and then at that point, very similar, high doses of prednisolone and mesalazine. I think I was in for about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then it sort of stabilized, and they sent me home. But then I was quite fortunate, and that's where we differ. Is like I continued to stabilize.
Yeah.
And then had control sort of with just managing doses of mesalazine. So it would ebb and flow what the dose was for a period of like 3 or 4 years. I was able to be medication free, which knowing what I know now about the disease is a very fortuitous thing to actually be in. But then hit my 30s, started my 30s, and then I went back to where you were a month later. So I had a massive flare in hospital. Nothing was touching it, and then I think I was in for about a month doing similarly lots of different IVs and just literally started off all right, and then all of a sudden, I don't know what, I think it was the high dose of steroids they must have had me on. is I started getting really sort of like almost arthritically feeling joints and things like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. The pain of just getting out of bed to get to the toilet. It's ridiculous.
And then it was like I was starting to defecate myself as well.
Yeah.
And then I think it was called cyclosporin. The tried was the last chance saloon for me. And then that wasn't working, and I was similar position to you. I was just nose diving.
Yeah.
And then the doctor was like, "Yeah, I think we need to get you in for surgery." So then he came around to chat to me that day before to start, because I was like, the results were going the wrong way. So they were like, we're prepping me, and they were going to do it the Monday, and ironically, mine was on a weekend as well.
Yeah.
So
oh no, they've got to get to golf. They can't do it on the weekend. You've got to be ready by Monday, unfortunately, mate. You know. Choose like cars.
Yeah. And he came on the Friday to chat, or the Thursday, sorry, to chat to me about it. And then I randomly was speaking to the nurse on the Friday, going, I think I need to go. And he came round and he checked my bloods. So I don't know what went on in the background. All I know is he spoke to me on the Thursday to prep me for what was coming, and the sign off thing to say like, I consent. And then he came around on the Friday after I'd spoken to the nurse saying, I think this needs to happen. And he did a check of the bloods and whatnot. I was like, we're getting you in tonight. So that was like midnight and it was then, that was literally my birthday. That at midnight was my birthday.
Wow.
30th birthday.
Happy birthday.
And then this was like, at midnight was queuing me up and like going, oh yeah, it's my birthday today. He goes, oh, I'm really sorry I have to do this on your birthday. And I was just like, well, it's all right. You're hopefully going to stop me from dying.
Well, hopefully it goes okay.
Yeah. No, but that's what has blown my mind, is like how similar, despite obviously mine being 17 and then 30, the two episodes are so similar, and just like the number of people out there that go through the same thing it just shocks me.
Some people are resilient to the steroid, either after a certain amount of time, or there's people who are in my situation where it's no matter what they threw at it, it just wouldn't subside. And I'm not part of a study. I'm helping create like a questionnaire survey with Sheffield University to send out a survey to patients who've got ileostomies who are steroid resistant, and then to the practitioners, the doctors and the nurses, and to try and find find answers from the survey about people who are resistant to steroids with Crohn's.
That's really interesting. How did you get involved with Sheffield University for this study?
It was Nicola, the CEO of Vanilla Blush. Vanilla Blush is a clothing brand. They make underwear for people who have ostomies and stomas, and they make hernia support. So I've modeled for them on their website a few times, and they make like a hernia belt, hernia underwear, and like she's really in the background. She's just got a lot of influence, and she's trying to help as much as she can. She must be such a busy individual, like doing charity work, obviously something like this. And Nicola's brilliant. And because of her, I met a lot of other people with stomas. I think I went about 6 or 7 years before I met another person who even had an ileostomy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds incredible. I actually didn't even realize that there was something like that out there.
Yeah.
That was one of my main frustrations when I had my ostomy, was like clothing things. So when I was wearing a suit, it would bulge out through my shirt. And things like that. Something I've started investigating myself now, is trying to make a clothing line more for men. Focusing on the issues I found I had when I had it. Like it wasn't that I was ashamed to show it off. Like when I was at the beach and stuff like that, I was just like, I can't be bothered. I'm just me. But when it came to like actually wearing clothes, like a shirt or just t-shirts and stuff like that, it would just sit funny, and I just feel like
I as a young man who I was very paranoid about people being able to see it. I used to I used to put on certain t-shirts and be like, I still do it now. I'll put on a certain t-shirt and be like, nope, not wearing that. Not today. Don't feel like I want to wear it, because it'll like hang on the bag in a certain way. Whereas, so I've worn some of their hernia vests. I prefer the vests that they have, and that just like, it just keeps it flat to your stomach.
Yeah.
Whereas women can wear high-waisted jeans. That does the same sort of thing. Women have a lot more variety when it comes to clothes. You know, we have shorts, boxers, and trousers, and there's your lot, and a kilt. Sorry, and but that's kind of your lot. So yeah, they've made some things that have been quite helpful. But as a young man, I found my own ways around it. One of my main things that I wanted to try to do was build a bigger chest, because if you had a bigger chest, then the t-shirt would sit there and fall forwards, and it wouldn't touch your stomach, because you were, you know, so if you stood up straight and you stood up with good posture, you actually wouldn't see the bag.
I can see the thought.
That was my thinking.